The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the QATV staff or board of directors. QATV, in compliance with FCC regulations, is prohibited from exercising control over the content of independent, member-produced public access programming.
For joining Soph and me on Faces of South Asia, inviting us every week to your living rooms. And with popular demands, we have all the popular shows. And as a regular, we have Dr. Lipi Roy, and she's just wonderful, physician from Mass General Hospital, who's here to talk about spices and their benefits. Hi, Lipi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me back on.
It's great to have you.
It's always a pleasure to be on. And today, thanks to both of you, I'm going to be talking about a topic that's extremely special to me and special to my heart. I'm deeply passionate about talking about healthy spices. I love cooking and baking, and so I like to use a lot of these spices in various dishes. And this topic first came up many years ago when I was doing my med school and residency. All my training was in the South, you know, in Louisiana and New Orleans, and then in North Carolina. And a lot of my patients just like to put salt on everything, salt and butter. And so I tried to come up with some other healthier alternatives to share with my patients. And as you'll soon discover, these spices have been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So it's nothing that I've discovered, but I like to share it with everyone else. So, want me to start with the first spice?
Please.
Okay.
Do you want me to tilt that?
Yeah, that'd be great. So the first spice I'd like to start off with is this bright yellow one right here called turmeric. All right. So, turmeric is also known as the golden spice of life. It actually originated in India over like about 4,000 years ago. It's been used throughout Asia and the Western world. The active ingredient in turmeric is called curcumin. And as you might know, turmeric, or this golden yellow powder, is also the major component of curry powder, often used in Indian dishes and many South Asian dishes. It's obviously famous for imparting that yellow color. It's also used as a preservative. And it's also been used in Ayurveda. Most of your audience might know about Ayurveda, which is a traditional Indian type of medicine used to treat multiple common ailments, from upset stomach to ulcers to jaundice to acne and skin and eye infections. So that's turmeric, a little bit of the history. So I'll give a little bit of background and history to all these spices, and then I'll talk about the health benefits. So turmeric, interestingly, has actually been extensively investigated, and it's actually a very safe spice to use. That's why it's used in so many dishes. One of the more popular health benefits to turmeric is its antioxidant effects. So basically what that means is that our bodies and cells naturally make these free radicals. So these are basically chemicals that can damage our cells and cause diseases such as cancer. But turmeric is a spice that actually has antioxidant properties. So what that means is that it'll quench or mop up these free radical chemicals and basically make your cells healthier. Okay, turmeric also has anti-inflammatory properties, so it decreases inflammation. Many chronic illnesses, diabetes, heart failure, kidney diseases, many of these chronic diseases are associated with inflammation. So turmeric decreases that. It also has been, it's being currently studied in many human clinical trials looking at pancreatic cancer, colon cancer, Alzheimer's disease, multiple myeloma, which is another type of cancer, and psoriasis. So that's turmeric. And have you guys used turmeric?
We use it all the time.
All the time.
For the health benefits.
And for anyone out there who thinks, oh, I don't know how to make Indian dishes, let me tell you, you can add sprinkle just a small amount of turmeric into your salads. Next time you make a sandwich, you can add it to anything.
Spaghetti sauce.
You can add it to spaghetti sauce. And let me tell you, you need a tiny amount to get the health benefits of these spices.
Exactly.
So that's turmeric. Next, I'd like to talk about paprika. So that's this bright red spice up here, at the top here, okay? So paprika basically has, I'm going to be talking about something called a carotenoid, okay? So that's that bright red spice right there. Carotenoids are basically pigments that are found in things like paprika, and they're often used to color and flavor food. Carotenoids are red, orange, and yellow pigments that are made by plants. Several forms of carotenoids exist, but the most common ones that are used in Western diets are alpha-carotene, beta-carotene, lutein, and lycopene. Carotenoid pigments can be found in many fruits and vegetables, such as spinach, squash, pumpkin, broccoli, corn, kale, watermelon, and grapefruit. So, what are some of the health benefits to paprika? So, basically, studies have shown that people who have high blood levels of carotenoids, which again are pigments found in paprika, individuals who have high serum or blood levels of carotenoids have decreased risk of cancer and heart disease. So that's a really huge benefit. Carotenoids, again found in paprika, have been found to rather diets that are rich in natural carotenoids, not the supplements or pills, but natural carotenoids like paprika. These diets can decrease mortality, or in other words, increase survival from many chronic diseases. Okay, and like turmeric, paprika also can decrease inflammation and disrupt cancer pathways. Okay, so as you can see, a lot of really great uses of paprika. You guys use paprika as well?
Absolutely, in every food.
And again, paprika, like turmeric, is actually used by many different cultures and many different cuisines. So that's paprika and turmeric. So the next one I'd like to talk to you guys about is coriander. So that's this kind of brownish spice right here. Coriander is also known as Coriandrum sativum. It's derived from a plant that's native to Asia in North Africa as well as Southern Europe. Now, while all parts of the plant are edible, it's the fresh coriander leaves and the dried seeds are most commonly used in cooking. The fresh leaves are often used in many South Asian dishes, such as chutneys and dal or lentils, vegetable medleys and chicken, as well as Chinese recipes and Russian salads. So you're going to find multiple uses of coriander in its various forms. As I said, like the fresh coriander leaves or the seeds, or in this case, the as you can see here, the ground powder form. I talked about how coriander is used in various Indian dishes and Russian and Chinese. In Mexico, coriander leaves are used as a garnish fresh leaves, are used as a garnish in guacamole and salsa. So the other thing I want to add that's interesting about coriander is that the essential oil of coriander is thought to counteract overly spicy foods. So that way it makes coriander a popular additive to curry dishes and spicy Mexican foods. So it kind of balances the excessive spiciness. And for the history buffs out there, you might know that references to coriander have been made way back to documents in Sanskrit and in Greek writings. Mm-hmm. So long history of paprika. So coriander, much like the other two spices that I mentioned, multiple health benefits. So as I mentioned with the other two spices, paprika and turmeric, coriander is also associated with anti-inflammatory properties, antibacterial properties, also anxiolytic. So that's a fancy way of saying it can decrease your anxiety or stress. Also antioxidants, so cancer-fighting properties. It can lower your cholesterol, and it can help with digestion. So one of the other properties that coriander has that the other two aren't really known for having is anti-diabetic properties. So So as you, I'm sure all know, diabetes is a huge epidemic, not only here in the West, but all over the world. Studies that were done in the United Kingdom in mice showed that there were lower blood sugar levels in mice, as well as insulin-like activity. Studies have also shown that there's increased metabolism or breakdown of fats or cholesterol in studies done in some animals. So those are just some of the health benefits of coriander. As I said, there's really, really many. So those are 3 spices now already, okay? Ready for 2 more. Now, the black little seeds that you see there, that's black cumin. Cumin can be shown in many different ways. But black cumin is also known as Nigella sativa, and it's been used as a spice, a food preservative, and traditional medicine for thousands of years. It's native to Southwest Asia, though the seeds have been found in Egyptian tombs. Black cumin seeds have multiple names, including fennel flower, black seed, black caraway, Kaljira in Assamese, Karum Chirakam in Tamil, Kalonji in Hindi, and Chernushka in Russian. So even though black cumin has a bitter or pungent taste and smell, this has not prevented its use in multiple culinary dishes, ranging from Indian naan or bread, as you guys both know, as well as Turkish korek buns, I may not have pronounced that correctly, and Bosnian pastries, and simply as condiments with salads and stir-fry dishes. So multiple uses throughout the centuries of cumin. So the active ingredient in cumin is something called thymoquin, and it's thymoquin that has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, as well as chemopreventative properties. So the thymoquin exerts its anti-inflammatory effects by basically kind of shutting down or slowing down some of the body's natural inflammatory chemicals. For you biologists out there, those are the prostaglandins and leukotrienes. So it definitely has a role in decreasing inflammation. And there's also already been studies showing the benefits of cumin in peritonitis, colitis, encephalomyelitis, arthritis. You've noticed all of those ended in itis, so which basically means an inflammatory disease. All right. So the thymoquinone in cumin has also been shown to decrease proliferation of tumor cells. So again, anti-cancer types of properties of cumin. And there's a large body of scientific data that has shown that black cumin has, as I've said, many health benefits that can also include fighting infections, so bacterial and fungal and viral infections, as well as cancers, as I've mentioned, and digestive disorders, as well as headaches and skin disease.
Thanks.
All right. All right, ready for our last, but never to be forgotten least, cinnamon?
Yes.
All right, so I gotta tell you, cinnamon, this is this wonderful bark that you see right here in the middle. Cinnamon, multiple uses for this. And by the way, my lovely hosts aren't telling you this, but there's a wonderful aroma in this room.
There is.
This cinnamon here as a bark, you know, it's been used in many, many different ways. This, it's actually derived from the inner bark of trees that are native to Southeast Asia, including Kerala from South India, as Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. So I'll have to tell you, cinnamon was a highly sought after commodity during the spice trade thousands of years ago. In fact, it was so popular, cinnamon was, during the spice trade, that it was actually more valuable than gold. Kid you not. That is how in demand cinnamon was, and frankly still is to this day. As most of you know out there, and of course you guys here, cinnamon has a very distinct aroma, right?
Yes.
A wonderful aroma. And that aroma, that wonderful smell, comes from the oil, the essential oil from the bark. And basically, this oil is prepared by hammering the bark, okay, and then grinding it in seawater and distilling it whole. And it's used, cinnamon's just used in a wide variety of dishes and cultures around the world, ranging from soups and chilies to meats to drinks, sweet drinks, and desserts.
Apple pie.
Apple pie. Oh,
and
tea. We could list off thousands of examples. I personally love to use it in desserts, and when you check out my healthy spices blog, spicesforlifemd.com, I love mentioning many recipes that have cinnamon in it. You know, Sophie just mentioned pie, apple pie, pumpkin pie. Thanksgiving's coming up, so you're going to see a lot of dishes with cinnamon in it. But some of the health benefits to cinnamon include, again, antioxidants, so cancer-fighting properties, also antiviral, anti-diabetic, as well as anti-neurodegenerative. Long word, but basically what that means is that there have been studies done that have shown that if you give a cinnamon extract to mouse models with Alzheimer's disease, it actually can decrease these amyloid plaques that are found in Alzheimer's, and it can improve their cognition and their thinking. So clearly multiple benefits to cinnamon and frankly all of these spices that I mentioned.
Wonderful. Like, I like to know is actually when you were going through all the different spices, what is the best way to have the spices, like for the various diseases or for very inflammation?
Yeah, so wonderful question. There's really so many different ways. You know, for the people out there, for those who are kind of intimidated about cooking and they're not big cookers or chefs, you don't have to be. I honestly, as I said before, throw get a bowl and throw some baby spinach in it, some chopped onions, chopped tomatoes, some black pepper, which I didn't really talk about, black pepper, and then maybe sprinkle a tiny bit, like I'm talking 1/8 of a teaspoon of maybe some coriander spices, and maybe just a sprinkle of turmeric. You don't want to actually add too much of turmeric, or else it might make it a little bit too bitter and way too yellow. So that's one example, but when you're, say, baking chicken, you can add a bit of those spices. You can actually make a paste in some water and mix these spices together and then marinate it overnight in the fridge and then bake it. I mean, there's just so many examples.
As you see, there are so many examples, and as Soph and me were taking a look at them, they look like a palette, and they're so beneficial. And it's so important to use these spices just in your daily diet, in your daily food. And it's been a pleasure to have Dr. Lipi over, and each time she comes over, she just educates me, Soph, as well as you. Thank you for coming over.
Thank you both so much. As you can tell, it's a topic I'm very passionate about.
Oh, it's wonderful. We would love to have you over for maybe you can show our viewers which is the best way to make a dish, maybe a salad, a regular salad.
Would love to.
And that would, you know, how we incorporate the paprika with the coriander and the turmeric. It tastes good. The aroma is great. Yep. And that would be wonderful. I'm sure I'm here to taste it, and so are you.
Wonderful.
Thank you for joining us. It's Isha.
And this is Soph. Thank you, Dr. Lipi.
Bye.
Bye.